Hello everyone. In this AWS lab, I wish to introduce about this introduction to Amazon EC2. So this lab will cover some of the important areas. Like I'll tell you about the overview, what I'm going to cover. You can understand about how you can launch a web server, and also with the termination protection enabled. And of course, the second one is the monitor your EC2 instance, and we can also learn about how to create a security group, and that too for the web server to allow the website, that is HTTP access. And later on we will also learn about how to resize EC2 instance, and we will understand about limits, and also later we will terminate and complete the lab. Let us quickly move ahead to how to proceed with the lab. Okay, so once you are ready with the lab, you can click this introduction to Amazon EC2 in a new window. So it will open a new window on the browser. So you need to start the lab. It will take about a couple of minutes. So this is the reading material for the lab. So step-by-step procedure is also given. This lab requires about 45 minutes. Okay, try to do at your convenience. Okay, so let us go through the task one first. The first is that what we need to do, we need to start the lab. So this should come to, see, this is starting the lab. You can see at the top, the yellow icon is there. That means that the lab is starting. Once the lab is started, you can see the green should appear. Once the green appears, your lab is ready. Let us wait for some time to get the lab started. So you can see now it has come to green. It almost took around 2 minutes of time to get this lab started. So now what we need to do, I will just go to the lab. Just click this AWS so that you will be going into a new window with AWS Console. So before I start my lab, I will just explore about what is this console means, elements of this one. So once you start your lab, this is AWS management console. This is the main menu, and you see at any point of time, if you click this AWS, you will go to the console. Okay, and these are all various list of services, various list of AWS services which supports. So let me start with compute. Once you click this compute, you see various services like EC2, Elastic Beanstalk, Lambda, Lightsail, across many things which are there. So we will start. We can also go through, see, this is your database. You can see DynamoDB, and of course your Elastic Edge, and of course your RDS. Many things are there. And you can also scroll down, many other security, storage. You can see EFS, S3 for simple storage service, EFS for elastic file system. Okay, so S3 Glacier, many other services are there. You can see in the left hand side. So first is that what we can explore this compute and EC2. This is the service. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Okay. And now before I start the EC2, I just want to explore the other things also. Like you can see this one. This is your user ID. Okay. So you can see this one, user ID and your account information, and of course the billing also is available at this point. And this is the most important thing. These are all various regions. As of now, there are 24 regions which are available. You can see, you can scroll down still. There is one region. Region is nothing like a data center where the services are hosted. Within every region, we have even availability zones. Okay, we will discuss about that. So you can see there is a Mumbai region, okay, which is called as AP South 1. The largest region among all this is North Virginia, okay. So here you see Oregon is also there, US West -2, which is the most important data centers in North America, Ohio, North California, and you see many other regions coming which are available. So leave this as defaults. So now let me start the service as EC2. So if you are aware of compute and EC2, in this way also you can go. Otherwise, you can say search EC2 Elastic Compute Cloud and automatically it appears in your dashboard. So click that EC2. So you should see EC2 dashboard on your console. Okay. So once you start this one, you can see in the left hand side EC2 dashboard instances. Okay, instances which is highlighted this one. You can see here there are no instances. Instances means the servers. Nothing is been created or available as of now. Scroll down, you can see many other things which will be there. All these things will be discussed subsequently, like your elastic block store volumes can be created here, snapshots, networking, elastic IPs, key pairs, network interfaces, load balancers, auto scaling. This all various terminology we will be going to discuss later. But first now, as per our requirement, let us start creating an instance called as Amazon EC2. Amazon EC2. See, this is our task one, Amazon EC2 instance. See here, launch instance. This is the first. And let me speak about this Amazon machine image. Amazon machine image is a template, okay, for the root volume, for instance. It is a kind of operating system. So what we are using is Amazon Linux. Amazon Linux as currently for this particular task. You can see this one, Amazon Linux 2 AMI, we are going to choose. So this has the complete image of your Linux. Okay, let me go ahead to the tab and go to launch instance. This is the first one which I am doing. Please practice. This is the first exercise which you are doing, but still this is very important. You see this, there are various Amazon machine images. These are all public images. For every account, these are more or less common. You see approximately around 40 plus images, 45 images are there. So the first one, which is at the top, Amazon Linux 2, please select that for this exercise. Even though you have several other, if you want to have Windows, you can scroll down to see, but ensure that you are in free tier if you are doing. But for us, yes, more or less, see, this is Windows 2019 base. You see this still more, Windows 2019 base with containers also is available. 2022 base is also available. 2016, these are all Windows, Microsoft. But for us now, let us select this Amazon Linux 2. This is the first one which is there. Select that. And now this task of selecting this image has been done. This is a 7-step model. So first step is we have chosen. The second one is choosing the instance type. So let us go through the instructions. So this instruction says that the next step is choose your instance type. So here let me choose the instance type as T3 micro. T3 micro, even though this is not free tier, when you are doing in the classroom, Vocarum, you can select this T3 as part of your lab. So here T2 micro has 1 CPU and 1 GB memory. So let me select this T3 micro, this one, which has 2 CPU and 1 GB of memory. Okay, so if you do this one, select only if you are using this VOC Labs. Otherwise, please don't do. If you are using a direct account, you can select this free tier as T2 micro only. Here you can select as T3 micro. This is, and once you select this, please move ahead to configure next. Configure your instance details. Step 3. So what you need to do here, select this under network as lab VPC and also enable the termination protection. So these are the two things which we need to move ahead. Okay. Now, so in your network, again see this one, please don't change any other things. You see this lab VPC is there, select that. Once you select that, scroll down, rest all things don't touch. We will be learning one by one slowly. CPU options, and of course, scroll down. There is one option which is called as enable uh, protect against accidental termination. Select that. We will learn about after selecting how much secure we are. Scroll down. Okay. You see this one under user data, you have something here which is post. Once the server is installed, I'll again show you the instructions here. Once the server is installed, this script runs. That means that once I say copy and paste it here. So what does this script do? It's a batch file. So it will load the bash shell and then it will install HTTPD and also it will enable as a startup service, and then it also pushes hello world, hello from your web server into var www html, var html index html into this directory. I hope this is clear. Just copy paste and say add storage. So here you see this one, default root volume is your 8 GB and with 100 IOPS and SSD hard disk. Don't change any default values, leave as it is. This particular step number 4. We are 7 steps, we have just done 4th step. And next one is add tags. Tagging is just to give an identification. So we completed storage, we are into tags. In tag, just we are giving name, key value as name and value as web server. These two we will add key value as name. You can give anything. This is only an identification. Web server. Just provide that and configure security groups. So let me go show you the documentation. Step 6. What he mentioned as per the documentation, since you want to make this server more secure, you need to delete this existing SSH security permissions. I'll show you how to delete. So by default, it is showing you SSH. This is how to log in into into the Linux server. But here I'm not using this one, so hence I'm deleting. So there are no rules. These are the firewall rules in your security group. Now last step is that review and launch. So the selection of all the 6 steps has been highlighted. The instance type is T3 micro, security groups nothing, instance details also has been displayed, storage is 8 GB and has been, and say launch. So it is showing about an existing key pair. So here I did not create anything, just leave as it is and say acknowledge and launch your instance. So what it does is that just wait for a few minutes. You can go to the dashboard also, just click this particular one. So you should see the instance slowly getting launched. You see this instance state has come as pending in the initial, and after few minutes, 3 to 4 minutes, what happens is that this instance status comes running, and also status check is 2x2 health check passed. So you see this one, scroll down. So this part is done, acknowledge has been done, scroll down. So you can see once the instance state is running and 2x2 passed, you are ready to launch your applications. Okay, so here you see this. Please wait for 2 to 3 minutes, and meanwhile you can refresh this one from time to time. So it is still status checks are initializing. I'll get back. Meanwhile, I'll explain about the server properties. So click the server. You should see good amount of what information. Let me tell you the topmost thing. This is called as the instance ID. For every instance, I mean the server which has been created. So this is your ID, and this is how Amazon identifies the server ID. And this is your public IP. You see this one 52.41. Public IP means where all the users can interact with this particular IP, and this is private IP, or we also call this as local area network IP. A separate class will be given for understanding about private and public IPs. But for us, copy this public IP and paste it into a new browser, Control V, and try to press. You should see the website running, but as of now the website has not yet run because of various reasons. The status check is not yet passed, and also there is something else configuration in the security group. So still the status check is getting initialized. Select this one, scroll down. Meanwhile, let us understand the other. This is your complete URL of your domain name system. Okay, this is your private IP domain, DNS name. We will learn all these things in VPC and elastic IP also. Okay, scroll down. So one thing what I want to tell you is that there are various other tabs also. Select this monitoring. Monitoring is nothing but like it will check the usage of your infrastructure, like your CPU, your what we call as your hard disk, your network, and all these things will be initialized. But that will start only once the server is running and health checks are initialized. You can maximize this one and also view enlarge and see how much is being utilized CPU. So this is every 5 minutes it shows. We will again see once the server is completely health checks have been passed. Okay, now you see this, the health checks 2 by 2 is passed. Okay, so your monitoring and all the other activities will be initialized. So this is the task 1. We have congratulations, you have launched your Amazon EC2 instance. Okay, so let us move ahead how you can monitor your instance. So as I shown you, monitoring is very important to see the resource utilization. So what you can do, you can select the monitoring tab and start getting this what we call is, if you want to see whether how your system has been initialized or not, the status on the console, you can just say actions and monitor and troubleshoot. Get the screenshot. I'll show you can do. Then select the instance here, under actions, monitoring and troubleshoot. Get instance screenshot. Just say that you should see what is, oh, the Amazon Linux has already started and you can see console login on the screen. Means the system is healthy and run. This is how administrators can view the screenshot at a current. This is the console screenshot. Let me go back and see this particular one and go to monitoring. This is the second task which we are doing. So even though it takes a little bit longer time, it's okay. So it has just started. Clicking the you can see the blue dot every 5 seconds, every 5 minutes, the utilization of the CPU will be shown. This is the CPU utilization. So currently it is 1.8%. Maybe after 5 minutes, then again another shot will come. It can go down or up or whatever it is. In this way, we will get the internal how the utilization is happening. Similarly, you can see the network in the blue dots. You can see network out, packets in, packets out, disk read, many other things are there. Disk read, disk write operations, any balances which are there. So this is how the monitoring is done. This is task number 2. Okay, so you should see the screenshot like this. Congratulations, you have explored several ways to monitor your instance. Now, update your security group and access the web server. So now let me show you the most important one, which is called as the IP address. So once you select the server, under details, you can see this public IP. Just copy that and paste it into a browser tab. So once you paste it into the browser tab, you should see the website running. But here it's not running. The website can't be reached. The only reason because is that the security groups is not being properly configured. So what you need to do here is that go to security group. Security group is nothing but firewall. Okay, we need to open HTTP port, then only the data can be accepted. I mean, the flow happens from your cloud resource to the end user. So here once I click the security, there is a group called a security group. Please try to learn multiple times so that you get familiar. This is the greatest security measure for all your cloud resources. Now you see here there are several inbound rules and outbound rules. As of now, there is no rule. Nothing is there in the inbound rule. We need to edit this inbound rule and configure. Okay, just click this, edit this inbound rule. Okay, so here there is no rules. Add a rule, and here allow this HTTP. Scroll down. You can see this HTTP, and just say in the source anywhere. Just say anywhere. Select this HTTP and anywhere, and say save rules. So the rules are now saved. I mean that you have allowed your firewall. You can see here now HTTP is now allowed for this particular instance. You can see this. Click the EC2 dashboard. Instance running. You should see the web server here running. But now if you click the security, scroll down, there should be an inbound rule. If you do not find the inbound rule of port 80, then again please reconfigure clicking this and then providing the inbound. Now go to your IP address and just say refresh or reload. you should see hello from your web server. Please check from other computers also from this particular IP. It should work. If it is working, then congratulations. You have just set up your website, modified your security group, and your website is ready. Your hello from your website should work. Now let us understand about EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. I mean that what is the meaning of elasticity? You can resize your instance. See, I know that currently I am into T3 micro. How do I do that? How do I do that? First thing is that switch off the server. Select the server, ensure that it is tick, and don't say terminate. Terminate will terminate, remove all the instances. Okay, just stop the instance. You cannot resize until if the server is on. Just stopping, it is mentioning a successfully stopped. It will take a minute's time. You see the status here, stopping. I mean that the server is coming for power off state. So once this is power off state, you can go to your instance dashboard. Instance is not here, this one. This is in power off stopping. Select this. Yeah, now the instance is completely stopped. Yeah, I'm selecting this. I'm changing from T3 micro to, as per our requirement, it's I need to change from this to T3 small. Okay, so please go through this one. T3 small. I'll change the instance type to T3 small. And do this exercise only in VOC Labs. Okay, so here what I do under actions, I can no I can instance settings. I can change instance type. That is the call. That is how I call it elasticity. Okay. In T2 micro, I can change to. So earlier it was T3 micro. Now I will make it to T3 small. It should be there in the dashboard. T3 micro. T3 small. Yes, I could see that. T3 small has more capacity than T3 earlier one. Apply. So now this changes from, yeah, it has changed now, T3 small. Now the next step in this particular one is that how to resize the volume also. I'll show that. So once you change this instance size to T3 small, let us also learn another one, how to resize the EBS volume, that is your like your C drive volume. So earlier it was 8 GB. Now let us modify based on this one. We will modify from 8 GB to approximately 10 GB. That is what is our exercise is. Okay. But again, for this one also, what we need to have is that the instance should be in stop state. So now let us go to volumes in EBS store. You see this one in EBS store, scroll down if you are not able to see. Just select this one, web server. Okay, this is 8 GB. Under actions, what you can do, modify volume and just resize. This is dynamic. So 8 GB is now expanded to 10 GB. Modify. Say modify. Alright. So it will just refresh. This is the refresh menu. You should see 10 GB. Now go to your EC2 dashboard. Start the, web server. Start the web server. Go to your EC2 dashboard instances. Okay. You select your web server. This is top. Now two things which we have done. We have resized the instance and also we have increased the capacity. So under instance status to start instance. Okay. So now you have successfully, congratulations, you have successfully resized. This is your task 4. In this task, you have changed your instance from T3 micro to T2 small. You also modified your root disk from 8 GB to 10 GB. Okay. Now the last one, which is called as exploring EC2 limits. Let us go through what is a limit means. EC2 provides different resources which you can use. These resources include images, instance, volumes, and snapshots. Once you create an AWS account, there are default limits. If you want to explore all these default limits, then what you need to do, we have to select the limits and select your what we call as the instances. You can see what is the limits which you have. You can request or increase based on the limits which are there, right? Once let us go through this one. So this is instance has been started. So here you can see the limits. So it is scrolling. Oh, a lot of. Now let us about test or termination protection. So let us try to delete or terminate the instance because we no longer need it now. So we have already tested our website which is running everything perfectly. Now we have completed our lab. We will try to terminate the instances. Go to your instance dashboard and say try to terminate select the instance and try to terminate. So here I select my instance and say instance status to terminate. It will immediately give a dialog box to terminate. But when I say it mentioned that failed to terminate the instance because the only reason why it has given that red mark is we have enabled the termination protection. So what we can do is that accidental. Sometimes we may delete accidentally. So what we can do is that we can disable this termination protection and then terminate the instance. How to do that? So what you can do under actions, go to instance settings and change termination protection. So disable this tag. Okay, just save. Now once you start terminating, what you can do with this one? Instance settings, you can terminate. All the resources which has been created in the cloud gets immediately terminated. And there is no way where you can recover the instance back what all exercises you have done. Okay, termination means permanent delete. So it will take a couple of minutes time and then you will get a message saying that your system is now terminated. And while during the time of termination, you can see even the volumes also should be deleted, will be deleted. Everything will be deleted and also it will be terminated. You see this? I'm just showing you. Already from running it has come to shutting down status. So in this way, this exercise is now select terminate. So congratulations, you have successfully tested termination protection and terminated your instance. Okay. Once you have completed your lab panel, so once you have completed and you see your status as terminated, what you can do in your lab, you can just say submit your lab. Okay, just say submit your lab. You want to submit? Yes. Don't end the lab until unless your submission is done. And you should come back to your modules. Thank you everyone and bye. Please practice couple of times.